congratulations on the film. I absolutely loved it. And I remember I watched it back in the fall when you guys had it at the Inside Out Festival. And it was so moving and so touching. And then, of course, I watched it again just last week, just kind of, refresh my memory. And boy, does it take on a whole new meaning because of Cloris Leachman, of course. So, Phil, I want to start with you because where did the story come from? What inspired you to write this?
Right. Well, I knew that my first film was going to be a family drama because family dramas were the films that got me into films.
Yeah.
And it also just seemed like a reasonable place to start as a first feature. It's kind of a producible, a doable thing, a scale that is achievable for a debut feature. So that was kind of the starting point. And at the time that I started writing the script, which was sort of like early 2013-ish, I had just started kind of end of life kind of care conversations with my grandmother. She wasn't as advanced as Cloris's character Margaret is in the film, but that was kind of a regular feature of the visits I was having with her at the time, which were also in a small town. She lived in small town Vermont, but she actually was also the person who bought my family cottage in Prince Edward County in the late 90s. So I was used to visiting her in a small town, and then later in Prince Edward County when she had a cottage there. So that's kind of how those two things came together. It was like, okay, the city versus country aspect, small town, grandmother end of life care kind of journey.
Right.
And then meanwhile, I was going on my own journey as a filmmaker and kind of choosing life as an artist and recommitting myself to that life. And I had just finished making a short film that was a gay coming of age story. And I kind of didn't realize, like, once I started to put that film out there, it kind of left me feeling very exposed. And so I was starting to realize, like, oh, okay, if I recommit myself to a life as in art, it's going to be queer art because I'm a gay man, and so that's going to be a feature of my work. And I guess I didn't realize that kind of vulnerability was going to be part of the journey, and that it kind of confronted me. And so I started to put that into the script, but I wasn't interested in an autobiographical tale. And I wanted it to be bigger than that and more interesting than that. And so what is kind of the ultimate expression of queer artistry? And for me, that was drag. It's kind of drag queens are kind of the crusaders against our collective queer shame, in the world of in that kind of world. And so it was kind of those three ideas, kind of family drama, grandmother, small town, recommitting to life as a queer artist, that kind of came together to make the story.
Yeah. And Thomas, for you, I'm wondering if you had ever even attempted drag before. Listen, I have enough problems putting on a little bit of mascara, when I have to. Those guys, I mean, they are amazing. I'm pretty obsessed with RuPaul's Drag Race. I love watching it. I love the stories behind it. I love how empowering drag makes somebody. What was it like for you to take on this role and then have to do that as well?
Well, it was a bit of a dream come true, really, to have a role that was so fleshed out, and then to also have the opportunity to kind of, become a full-on drag queen. It was always something that I had hoped to try at some point, and so when this opportunity came along, it was I was so excited about it. It was definitely a challenge, but I had so much fun doing it. I have a whole new respect for wearing heels for 8 hours a day. I'd never done that before, and it hurt, but
trust me, I don't wear heels anymore. I don't think I've put on shoes other than my comfortable slippers for over a year now. Isn't that sad? Yeah,
not at all.
We can manage. It's all good. Phil, when you started to make the film, and obviously, watching Thomas in this role, well, first off, what was it about Thomas that you thought, he's gonna make a great Russell?
Right. Well, we always said that we wanted to cast a star in the role of Margaret, and we wanted to discover a star for the role of Russell.
Ding, ding, done. You've done both of those.
We think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of two very different approaches. For the role of Thomas, we did an open call of Canadian actors. We wanted to be a Canadian actor, it's Canadian film, and we wanted to discover some homegrown talent, and felt that it was a perfect opportunity to do that for
Mhm.
a role like this. And yeah, it was very challenging because we knew we needed somebody who could, had the chops for kind of high classic drama.
Yeah.
And at the time, hopefully, opposite sort of a marquee a marquee star. So we knew we needed that, and then we needed, sort of the ability to carry the role of a drag queen, and a drag queen who's also exploring her art, right?
Right.
But who's not entirely fully formed, who's kind of trying different things on and expressing it in different ways, and so that we wanted a rawness to that as well. Um, so it was really just a matter of kind of seeing what was out there. So our casting director Jesse Griffiths put out an open call, and first in Ontario and then across Canada. We saw about 150 people for the role. I think over 150. And
Wow.
Thomas was actually early in the submissions. This is a favorite, maybe a favorite story of mine, not some favorite story of his, but um, he actually kind of came in fairly early in the tapes, and it was one of those kind of beginners luck situations where he came in one of the first rounds of tapes we were reading, like, oh my god, Thomas looks like the real deal, but this can't be it because we've only seen whatever it was, 15 or 20 people.
Right.
So we got to keep looking to be sure. So poor guy, like we had said to his agent that we were interested, and he was on a short list, but meanwhile he kept seeing more calls getting put out for the role, like we're still looking.
And Thomas, you got it. There you go.
Yeah, for a
Yeah.
long process. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
it
you
was.
find out you are going to be doing pretty much most of your scenes with Cloris Leachman. My God. I mean, you, you can't learn from anybody better than Cloris Leachman. What was it like going, head to head with her? And what do you learn from a woman like that? What a veteran,
Well,
what an amazing woman she was.
yeah, no, of course. I mean, you said it. I've said it a lot, but it really was a masterclass every day in everything acting. Um, I learned a ton from her, mostly, you know, just how to be that present and that in the moment, and spontaneous once the film starts rolling. And so, yeah, it was a joy. It was unpredictable. It was exciting. It was challenging. It was everything you kind of hope to have in a scene partner. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was incredible.
Yeah, and I love the fact so much that her character, and I think that she was like this in real life too, that she was so accepting of her grandson. No questions asked. No
Yeah,
questions asked. Whatever, he was gay, whatever, he wanted to be a drag queen, whatever, doesn't matter. I can imagine, I know, like she's a champion. She was a champion for the community. And so what kind of off-screen conversations did you guys have with her? Thomas, you start.
off screen, we got along great. It was a lot of horsing around. She was always, trying to make me laugh, and she was always trying to keep the energy up between takes. And what I really wanted to know from her was kind of, I just wanted to have a lot of kind of like everyday conversations with her. So we talked a lot about her childhood, kind of her growing up in Iowa, and kind of we'd talk about her dogs and kind of like normal day to day stuff. That's kind of the material I really wanted to kind of connect with her on. Yeah.
Yeah, and Phil, I mean, what's it like for it? Was it at all intimidating or scary, directing this legend?
Um, yeah, in a way, yes. Certainly, in a way, yes. But very quickly, no. So, I mean, obviously, there was, I did speak to her before she arrived. Kind of had a FaceTime call with her, which was a bit like having a FaceTime call with kind of your grandmother. Like, how do you
Yeah.
use this thing, and what am I doing here, and can't we just talk in person, kind of situation. Um, and sort of there was sort of an evolution to the relationship, but once it was like the first day on set. One of my favorite stories is the first day on set. We were shooting the very first scene where they actually the two characters meet for the first time, when he comes to her house and she says, "Get the hell out of my house."
Yeah.
And so because this was the first scene that we were shooting between the two of them, and it was the first time these characters were going to meet, and we were like, why don't we have them meet in the take?
Mm.
So we kind of, so we kind of had this, told Thomas, we told Cloris, and of course she was game. She was game to do anything.
Yes.
She was the kind of actress. She really just was very, very much a professional. I show up, you tell me where to stand and where to go, and I'll deliver the goods. And that was kind of her. She was just such a professional that way, which is why I say after a while it really wasn't intimidating because you were working with just this pro.
Felt at home. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so we shoot this, we set up the camera and you can cut the tension with a knife, right? Little indie ragtag production, Prince Edward County, this, 93-year-old Hollywood legend puttering onto set. And, he's got his back to her. We're setting up the shot and there's hushed voices. And we roll the cameras and the line is, get the hell out of my house, you prowling son of a bitch. And she says, get the hell out of my house, you rotating son of a bitch. Which of course, he rotates to spin around. So the whole crew just fell apart laughing, including her. And it was just this moment, this seminal moment where it was like, oh, this is going to be really fun.
Yeah.
And it was, we had an amazing time with her, and she was just such a professional, always studiously working away on her sides before we called action, and just, they had a great time and we had a great time with her. It was a real honor to work with her.
It's really lovely that her last film is a Canadian film. I think that's just beautiful. And it just goes, it's a testament to her that, at 93, she was raring to go. And as you say, just a joy to work with. And the whole thing all around is such a beautiful story. And then to wrap it up at the end of it, you didn't just make a movie out of it. You two fell in love. So, I mean, come on, really? Was that right after you decide, how did that all come together?
Well, I would say that it was toward the end of the production when it moved to Toronto that I think that both of us were kind of, recognizing or feeling something for each other. But it wasn't until after we wrapped that anything was acknowledged or talked about. And then quite quickly after that, we just started dating, and
there you go.
Ever since.
That's amazing. That's such a lovely story. I love this whole film, everything about this film. You guys are terrific. I mean, honestly, it's been a pleasure to talk to you both today, and good luck with everything. I'm going to be talking to Jane Eastwood in about an hour. I'm really looking.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to have her on set as well, and Linda Cash too, veteran Canadian actresses, and it must have been a joy to work with those two as well.
It was amazing. I mean, when we offered the part to Linda and to Jane directly, we didn't audition those roles. We were like, Linda, we want Linda for the role of Ian. She was the perfect mixture of kind of that sort of the vulnerability and power we needed in that role. She's this mom, she's like an antagonist structurally in the film, trying to hold her family together and keep everybody from making, what she perceives to be bad or dangerous decisions. But, she also has this, incredible love for those two characters. So she's kind of this rock in a hard place kind of character, which is also just a classic place for moms to be.
Yes.
But she just had that. And so we offered her the part, and she was into it, and it was awesome. And same with Jane. And in Jane's case, she's actually worked with Cloris before. She had played her understudy in, what was it, Showboat or something in the 90s.
Yeah.
So she was thrilled, and to kind of have all of these veterans in this, in this kind of debut film, we just feel incredibly lucky.
No problem. It's okay. It happens. We're wrapping it up anyway, so you can get your call. But congratulations on the film. You guys are terrific to talk to. And like I said, best of luck with it. Really is a terrific little movie. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank
you so
Bye,
much.
guys. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.